Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Tom Forfer here from the Doctors Collective, and I want to talk about the term no BS entrepreneurship for doctors. And the reason is because we're running an event by that very title, and it's a title that hasn't been used before in this space. But to me, it has a lot of meaning, and I think it will to you when you hear this, because there's a lot going on in the business arena which involving doctors. Whether it's a clinic or a different type of clinic, or whether it's a separate business. Mostly it's clinics, and there are a lot of buzzwords being thrown around. A lot of things that sound like a good idea but really are not. But they work, but they don't really, and it's all kind of wishy-washy, and people are getting really confused. Where ultimately, I don't know about you, but when I got into business, it was to create the life that I wanted for myself and for my family, right? When I started I was trying to get into medical school at the same time, and eventually I got through and I got in, and I realized what worked and what didn't in terms of getting in. And so I started showing other people how to get into medical school. So the way that I was doing it, the way that I did it was postgraduate medicine in Australia. And to do that, you had to get through the GAMSAT. I'm not sure if you heard of the GAMSAT, but it's a 6-hour plus long exam that people sit to prove that they're good enough to get into postgraduate medicine in Australia and in the UK. And it took me 3 years to get through this bloody thing. But eventually I did. I got through. I figured out what worked, what didn't, and I started sharing it with people. And I started teaching them, tutoring them, so to speak, but not in a traditional way, because I didn't have the time to be seeing people one-on-one. I didn't have the time to be seeing them face-to-face and then run off to try and study and charging people by the hour and then try and do some study and then try and sleep and do everything else that I was trying to do. So I had to use more creative ways. And so what I did was I set up an online education company that showed people how to prepare for this exam. And we helped thousands of people. While I was in medical school, while trying to learn pharmacology, anatomy, pathophysiology, all that kind of stuff, I was simultaneously helping thousands of people prepare for the GAMSAT and become doctors themselves, while also trying to sleep and have a great relationship and stay in shape. Now, I was trying to get it all done, and I was managing pretty well. But I couldn't have done that if I was using all the gimmicky, average, traditional type stuff, which doesn't work in this competitive area, which is business in 2019 or whenever, and it's even more competitive if you're watching this later in the future. And so there's no way I could have done that doing things traditionally, seeing people one-on-one. And it was kind of funny because I was actually I think I was in first year medicine, and I got this letter, or maybe it was an email from the dean telling me, hey, we'd like to have a meeting with you in my office to discuss your business. And I was like, holy shit, I'm in trouble. They found out, they're kicking me out. This is it, it's over. And so I was nervous, and I went in to speak to them, and there they are, the dean's sitting there looking all, putting on a happy face to try and reassure me that it's okay. And then there's the vice dean with a notepad out to keep track of what was discussed. And they started off the meeting saying something along the lines of, hey, we've gotten some reports that you're trying to or trying to come across as a representative of the university. And I was like, well, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy because there's no way I want to try and be a representative, and I'm not part of. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I said it clearly to them. I said, I do online tutoring, I help them prepare, and all I say is that I am a student at this university. And at that point, the vice dean closed his notebook. We had a nice conversation because there was nothing to worry about. And the vice dean turned to me and said, that's really cool. I did something like that when I was your age getting through medical school. I also tutored people. And I kind of thought to myself, this is really interesting. It's a great example of the generational gap going on and the change in how business is done, how businesses are run these days, where, yes, he did the tutoring, but he saw people one-on-one, face-to-face. I never saw anyone one-on-one or face-to-face, and I was helping thousands of people, making thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars a year, far more than any tutor could. And at the same time, I was also learning all the medical stuff and doing all the other things I was doing. And this is a really good example of what's going on today in the business world for doctors, where there are a lot of these methods that have been around for a long time and seem like the wise thing to do, or more so they people do them because they've heard their parents and their grandparents, and it's been in the media, and people have talked about these things like word of mouth. Yes, it's good, but it's slow, and there's only so much you can do. People actually have to come and see you first before word of mouth can spread. So things like that, and SEO or search engine, marketing, stuff like that can be effective, but there are limitations to it, and we need to be far more cutting edge and practical if we're to stand out in the current environment. And this applies to you whether you're running the traditional clinic, but even more so if you're doing things differently. If you have a niche clinic with particular types of clients you want to attract, or maybe you're in healthcare management consulting, or perhaps you have a side gig or a startup, you need to do things differently. The traditional stuff isn't going to work for you. Or if you're running retreats, or you're coaching or mentoring, or if you're running events, there's a whole multitude of these things that we've helped people with and had private clients that we've guided them through, and we've done for ourselves as well. So no BS entrepreneurship is all about using these modern cutting edge practical approaches to help you fulfill your business goals. Now, for me, I think I mentioned this earlier. When I started in business, it was all about creating the life I wanted for myself and my family. And what else is there in business? Yes, there's some people who want the unicorn or the big monster thing of a thing that dominates the world. And then what? Right? You do that thing and then what? Well, you want to have a great experience of life, right? And which is essentially a nice lifestyle where you can have the impact that you want, see your family, go on the holidays, and do the things you enjoy. So it's all one and the same to me. Ultimately, we want to make sure that our business helps us to live the life that we want to, and that involves the work. So I'm not talking about spending all your whole time sitting on a beach, because chances are you do that for a few months, and I've been there, you get bored and you want to do something with your life. And that's what happens if doctors come to me and they're like, Tom, I had someone say to me the other day, I just want to be barefoot Buddhist. I'm like, yeah, cool, you could do that. You'll do it for 2 weeks and you'll be bored. What then? And so it's all about kind of mixing in lifestyle and business and the work that you want to be doing and the people you want to be with, and then creating your business so that it allows you to do that. And that's what we're going to be doing at our event called No BS Entrepreneurship for Doctors. We're going to start off by identifying what's the life you want to be leading, what's the impact you want to have. What do you want to be doing day to day? What kind of work? What kind of leisure? What surroundings? Where do you want to live? What kind of car you want to drive? All that kind of stuff. And then we're going to go from there and work our way backwards to create a business and a plan to get there so that when you leave, you know what to do, how to get started, or to make that happen, or to change things around if you're already in business to make that happen. So if you want to know more and if you want to be part of it, click the link around this video, and we'll see you there. Now, we've limited the tickets to only 20 tickets. So if you want to be part of it, you got to be quick because it's going to be interactive. We're limiting it to 20 tickets. It's going to sell out pretty quickly. So head on over there, and we can help you to implement this practical, cutting-edge way of running business as a doctor that can help you to fulfill the dreams or the lifestyle goals that you have for yourself. So see you there, and have a great day.